So today is the day that I'm ready to start putting these chicken of the wood spawns into the tree. Now I've drilled some willow here, and further down I've also drilled some ash to experiment with, and we also have some hawthorn ready and the old oak tree that you saw in a previous video. The problem with that other version of doing it, I think the chicken of the wood was too old and it doesn't seem to have taken, so I decided to buy these 1500s plugs full of chicken of the woods. And what I plan to do is to get these into all these trees and see how it goes. I've also got a blackthorn drilled also, because I've been told that chicken of the woods grows quite well in old cherry trees. So seeing as they're in the same genus, I figured give it a try. I'm putting it in that one that's fallen over. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm just taking you for a quick walk down quickly to show you what else I've been up to. So as you can see, the old wild garlic's all coming up now. This is all the stuff that was already established, and that whole patch there is full of lettuce-celandines, so I don't want to fill that whole area with wild garlic because it's nice to have the lettuce-celandines. However, I do want to fill over by the stream in the distance. So all the nettles are coming up now too. Plenty of cleavers. Now as we approach this area, this is where I put all the bulbs in, and as you can see from the distance already, I'll zoom in a little bit more. Look at all of this wild garlic. Almost every single bulb has come up. So I'm probably not going to pick it this time. I'm going to let it seed, let it start to take over this area. Here's the original patch. As you can see, it's a whole lot more densely matted than the other. Now, what I've noticed with this, I think it's quite interesting actually, because I think they share slightly, because they'll share slightly different genetics. All of this wild garlic here is only just coming up. It's not even anywhere close to flower yet. However, this wild garlic shares its northern traits, and where did I see it? There, look. It's already coming into flower. So that's quite interesting. Now I wonder whether this will settle into the same habits of this wild garlic, or whether it will maintain its early growth, which could be quite beneficial in some respects, because if I can spread some of this patch and also spread this patch, we'll have a very long wild garlic season. This carries on right through till late May usually, so it's often around when most of the other wild garlic has gone. So that would be interesting. I might have a longer season from February till early June if we're lucky. But that's a success. I plan to put more over in that bend in the stream over there, and maybe some more on the other side of here, just to really establish a big garlic patch. So by the time this lot's ready to harvest, the others will be establishing themselves. But the other reason I did all of this also is because when I do teach foraging, this is one of the species that's just not growing in this area. Everything else is growing here that you'd find in this kind of habitat. But I usually have to go further down the road to another location to get to the wild garlic patch. So once this is established, we have the perfect teaching ground with wild garlic, and we even have in between our lords and ladies coming up. So the younger leaves, if I can find one, there, they can quite often be mistaken for wild garlic in thick patches of wild garlic. Often you'll find these growing up in between. So, but as you can see, the vein structure is completely different, and completely different to wild garlic, which has these distinct parallel veins. But also, it will always have a smell of wild garlic. You just break it off and give it a crush, and you will know that it's wild garlic. When it comes to the taste of wild garlic compared to Lords and Ladies, it's one of these where the usual taste tests are not advised. Usually you do the crush, smell, sensitivity test on your wrist and give it a taste. But with Lords and Ladies, because of the high calcium oxalate content, it's one of these plants that you should identify without having to reach that taste test, simply because the calcium oxalate crystals will cause severe pins and needles in your tongue, and if you swallow it, you're likely to get it down your throat too. And in young children especially, are more susceptible to their windpipes swelling up and stopping them breathing. So that's where the toxicity comes with the plant. However, with wild garlic, you shouldn't need to get that far, because as soon as you pick the leaf of Lords and Ladies and smell it, you're not going to get that garlic smell. So the surest way to identify it, especially from the young leaves down there, is to just take a piece, crush it and smell it, and you're guaranteed to have wild garlic then. I've just finished doing this tree. I've still got a few more logs to do, but as you can see, there's some kind of mycelium growing in here, and that little hole there, that's where I put the beefsteak fungus, the dried beefsteak. So fingers crossed that over winter that has taken hold and started to inoculate this stump. So yeah, we'll just have to see how well that it grows if it has indeed inoculated it, and that would be some very good news because I've been wanting to get beefsteak here too. So fingers crossed that mycelium growth is because of the beefsteak fungus that I put in that hole. So now what I'm going to do is to head back up here, back up the hill, and we're going to do the other logs. Hopefully, if the weather holds out, we'll get more of those done today. As you can see, the Canada geese have moved in for the spring. Now this is the ash tree that I'm planning, but I have drilled the holes for. This is just an experiment to see if it will grow in ash. There's plenty of ash trees around here, so it's not an issue drilling into this one tree. And I'm also doing this with hawthorn further down, a live hawthorn tree, because we've got plenty of hawthorn, and I wanted to see if I can get it inoculated into a live trunk and see if we can get some growth there. And the same with the willow. I've got some drilled into some of the willow further down, not just the log. So we're going to get this one started, and hopefully we'll get all the logs done, all the trees done today. So that is everything done for the day. And this, so I think I've used over half of the dowels, so just a little bit more drilling to do in a few other trees. I'll stick these back in the fridge. But there we go, chicken of the woods. So once I've got more of these in place, there's the website in case you wanted to have a look on their site. They also do beefsteak, spores and a bunch of other things. So yeah, gourmetmushrooms.co.uk. This is where I got them from. So yeah, I've still got a fair few to put in, but I've done most of it. So yeah, we'll see how this goes, and I look forward to hopefully getting some chicken of the woods going in the nature reserve.